We are stuck in this false war between the two extremes. On the one side, there's a growing movement, almost a religious belief around simplicity, where designers and developers keep saying that every website should be stripped down to just the basics, just text, blue links, maybe a button. On the other side, there are designers creating websites so artistic, animation everywhere, confusing navigation, high contrast colors, and fonts that are impossible to read. What I've learned after years in this industry is that both approaches are wrong. The real answer lies somewhere in between the basic and the beautiful. Many designers and developers points to Wikipedia and Craigslist as great example of simple design. But imagine if every single website on the internet looked like Wikipedia or Craigslist. The web would be the most boring place ever. These are two examples that get thrown away around constantly as proof that simple design is superior. But this argument completely misses the context. Imagine an online store with a simple design like Craigslist, with lines of plain text and blue links. Imagine checking your bank balance on a site that looks like a Wikipedia page. The reason simple design works for Wikipedia is not because simplicity is always better. It's because their design fits their purpose. Wikipedia is an encyclopedia. Their purpose demands that kind of look. You go there to find facts quickly, read an article, and then you leave. And for Craigslist, it launched in 1995 and looks almost identical today. But that does not mean we have to consider it as the greatest of all time design. Well, the fact is that millions of people have been using Craigslist for almost 3 decades. They know exactly where to click, how to navigate, and what to expect. Changing the design now would cost them enormously, not in development, but in user re-education. If someone launched a website today that looked exactly like Craigslist, would it succeed? Would people trust it? Absolutely not. It would look outdated, and actually it would look like a scam website. The only reason Craigslist can maintain that design is that it had earned trust over the last 3 decades. Knowingly or unknowingly, Craigslist is slowly being replaced not by one platform but by multiple platforms combined, like Facebook Marketplace and OfferUp. I've also seen people giving example of bank and government portals with the narrative of it's simple, it works, and they justify it by saying, look, these big organizations are using it, so it must be the best way. But just because some big brands or institutions are using a certain design does not mean it's the best way. It just means they're big enough that people have no choice but to use them. Try some hospital website to book doctor's appointment, or try booking a visa appointment in any embassy website. You will end up at a point where you have to hire someone else to fill up the form for you. It's that bad. And when people point to a website like this and say, this is what a real simple design looks like,
Here I come.
that's just a bad design with a clean layout. Let me now talk about the other extremes that are equally problematic. You know this site, the website with videos that autoplays, slider that moves so fast you can't read the content, pop-ups that appear before you've even seen what the site is about. Think about home architect for a moment. They are these ultra-modern artistic home you see in the magazines. Floor to ceilings glass walls, furnitures that looks like abstract sculptures. They are stunning to photograph, they win awards, but can a family with a young children safely live in those spaces? Can elderly people comfortably move through rooms? Often the answer is no. The designer becomes so focused on making an artistic statement that they forgot to serve the humans who would actually live in that space. The same thing happens with the website. Website that look sexy with all those animation and interaction, they do look artistic, but are they useful? Those flashy animation feels great to build. In fact, building them is so satisfying for developers and designer, but for users, they're just confusing and frustrating. You'll see these two extremes view fighting on YouTube and Twitter, and honestly, both sides are missing the point. I have watched this industry change for years, and I've seen how companies that hold on to basic end up fading away. Take Nokia, for example. In early 2000s, Nokia dominated the mobile market with about 40% global market share. Their phones were a definition of simplicity. You could drop them from a building and they would survive. The interface was straightforward. Battery life lasted for days. Then Apple released iPhone in 2007, a device that required charging every day. That would shatter if you drop it. That cost twice as much as other phones, and that removed the physical keyboard everyone was comfortable with. By the simplicity rule, the iPhone should have failed. Instead, it changed the entire industry because Apple understood that people don't just want simple. So, this brings me to an important point about what people actually want. What people ask for is not a basic design, nor a super artistic design. They just hate those pop ups and slider that confuse them. They hate autoplay videos that blast audio and disturbs them. They need something functional, pleasing, and easy to use. Use a blue color or green color. Add some animation or make it plain. Make it look modern or simple. If it does their work without frustration, it is a good design. When users complain about website, they are really complaining about visual richness or beautiful typography. What they are frustrated are by the design that makes them work harder, interrupt their experience, and confuse and waste time. What users really want is not just simplicity, they want clarity. They want a design that helps them do what they came for without friction. They expect feedback when they click, hover, or scroll. They want content that easy to read, easy to scan, and layouts that breathe. They want an experience that feels alive, not a dead, static piece pretending to be simple. This is what separates us designers from artists. While art is respectful and I respect it deeply. As a designer, we have to look at both ends. We have to balance aesthetic with function. That's where the real world lives between the basic and the beautiful. The balanced web. The basic four-leg chair is functional. It supports your weight, but good furniture design takes that basic function and asks, how can we make this better, more comfortable, more interesting? You get Amy's chair, Barcelona chairs that are both beautiful and ergonomic. None of these sacrifice aesthetic nor comfort. They found the balance. The same principle applies to architect. A basic rectangular house with divided rooms is functional, but good architect creates space that inspire us with still being livable for children, adults, and older people. Let's relate that to web design. If you are shopping for a premium watch or furniture, you visit one website that looks plain, no emotion, just product name, specs, prices, and add to cart button. Then you visit site with beautiful photos, gentle scroll effect, engaging layout, maybe even a short video. Both are functional, both give you all the information you need, but which one feels more trustworthy and worth your money? We don't need to follow the design of Yale's School of Art, but we surely follow the VCU School of Arts. We don't need outdated design like Berkshire Hathaway, but we need website like Bain. Instead of arguing about basic versus beautiful, we should be asking, does this help users get things done? Does it make people feel confident, not lost or frustrated? Does it give them a good experience? And when we add animation or micro interaction, are they helping them or are they just there to look cool and slow things down? Because great design is not about choosing between basic and beautiful. It's about making beauty functional and simplicity engaging. Look at companies like Stripe, Figma, or Dennis Snellberg website. Their websites are not basic. They have animation, variants, illustrations, and interaction. But everything serves a purpose. Every animation reinforces an action. Every visual element supports the content. You can navigate this site easily while still feeling like you are experiencing something designed with care. A look at GOB.uk. The UK government rebuilt its entire web presence around users' need. Plain language, clear action. It's simple and it works. Visual style is a choice that should serve the user and the brand. Sometimes minimal is right. Sometimes you need more animation, more color, and big image or big typography. The aesthetic is important. The user experience is also important. The simple makes it easy, but beautiful also makes people feel delightful. It's all about the balance. The web design community needs to stop having this religious war about simplicity versus fancy, basic versus beautiful, and function versus form. These are false choices that only limits our thinking. Good design exists in space between extremes, and finding that space requires skills, experience, and empathy. We need to remember that design is not about following rules or sticking to a particular philosophy. It's about solving problem while not compromising with experience. Sometimes that means stripping away everything unnecessary. Sometimes that means adding layers of design elements. Usually, it means finding the right balance for your specific context, audience, and goals. The web is a great place for creativity and connections. Let's not make it boring in pursuit of some abstract ideal of simplicity, but let's not make it exhausting in pursuit of artistic expressions. Stop glamorizing bad UX as simple design. Stop pointing to neglected government and bank website as benchmark of good design. And stop creating beautiful disaster that nobody can use. The goal is not to be basic or beautiful. The goal is to be useful, delightful, and human.